There's a major update today, and it's a genuine mix of real progress and real new danger, all happening at the same time. The Little Giant Fire in Washington just got a new command team and has climbed to 15% containment, with evacuation levels finally coming down in some communities. But right next door, 2 Oregon fires just got hit with a red flag warning, with officials saying the probability of new ignitions today is, in their own words, extremely high. And nationally, the country has now crossed 7.6 million acres burned for the year. Let's break it all down. The national picture, 7.6 million acres and climbing. According to the National Interagency Fire Center, firefighters have now responded to 50,239 wildfires this year, burning more than 7.6 million acres across the country, 129% of the 10-year average for fire count, and 170% of the average for acreage burned. Yesterday alone, 113 new fires were reported nationwide, including 11 new large fires, while 6 large fires were successfully contained. That net movement, new fires appearing even as others get wrapped up, is exactly what a season at this scale looks like on any given day right now. Let's start with the most encouraging story of today's update, the Little Giant Fire, burning 30 miles northwest of Leavenworth in Chelan County, Washington, has grown to 144,832 acres and is now 15% contained, a genuine, meaningful jump from where it stood just a few days ago. There's a leadership change here worth noting. At 7 o'clock this morning, California Interagency Incident Management Team 5 took command of the Little Giant Fire, replacing Northwest Team 12, who had been running the incident up to this point. Leadership transitions like this are common on long-duration fires, and they typically bring fresh eyes and renewed strategy to an incident that's been burning for well over a month now. This fire started July 16th from a lightning strike, and at 39 days and counting, it has now become the largest wildfire to ever burn entirely within Chelan County's borders. Personnel assigned to the fire has climbed to 2,324, with 79 engines, 44 crews, 85 pieces of heavy equipment, 35 water tenders, and 6 helicopters. Total cost has now passed $85 million. Crews have continued slow, deliberate firing operations from Maverick Saddle, working along established fire lines, and south along Forest Service Road 200 to connect operations near Burgess Meadow, while a Super Scooper aircraft has been supporting operations over Lake Wenatchee to help slow the fire's spread near Twin Lakes, Stormy Creek, and Maverick Peak. Here's the genuinely good news for residents. There have been significant reductions in evacuation levels across the Entiat Valley. Homes on Entiat River Road that were previously at level 3 have been reduced to level 2, and areas that were at level 2 have come down to level 1. The Chelan County Sheriff's Office is asking non-residents to stay out of the affected area regardless, and Forest Service roads in the zone remain closed, including Entiat River Road beyond the snow park. There's a community meeting worth marking on your calendar, too. A virtual session scheduled for tomorrow, August 24th, at 6:30 p.m. The public is encouraged to submit questions in advance by emailing the fire's official contact address with Community Meeting in the subject line. Now for the part of today's update that deserves real caution. The Paradise and Hagen fires, straddling the Oregon-Washington border in the Umatilla National Forest, are both under a red flag warning today, and officials are not mincing words about what that means. The Paradise fire grew by 461 acres yesterday, and increased fire growth is expected again today. Today's forecast calls for partly sunny skies with temperatures in the high 80s to low 90s, shifting to showers and thunderstorms starting this afternoon and peaking between 2 and 8 p.m. Winds are expected to increase to 14 to 18 miles per hour, with gusts potentially reaching 40 to 50 miles per hour during the afternoon peak between 4 and 7 p.m., continuing until midnight. Here's the sentence that should really get your attention. Fire officials say the probability of ignition today is extremely high, with torching trees near both fires' perimeters posing a real risk of new spot fires. With this kind of weather and the genuine possibility of new fire starts, crews are being told to expect they may need to change tactics quickly today. Forest Service Road 31 remains a priority area along with other zones southeast of the fire, and aircraft will continue supporting ground operations for as long as weather conditions allow safe flying. Containment on these two fires remains sharply divided. The Hagen fire continues holding at 19% contained, a number that's stayed relatively steady over recent days. The Paradise fire, meanwhile, remains at 0% containment, meaning after more than 5 weeks of burning, it still hasn't secured a single stretch of its perimeter, and today's red flag conditions make that gap even harder to close in the near term. Public safety officials are being direct about one more thing. Evacuation levels around both fires can change quickly given today's conditions, and residents are being urged to check official sources directly rather than relying on any single update, including this one. There's genuinely excellent news to report elsewhere in Washington. The Autumn Lane, Old Trails, and Fairview fires, the 3 incidents that devastated the Spokane area earlier this season, have all now reached full 100% containment. This marks a real close to one of the most destructive fire stories of the entire season, a genuine full-circle moment for a community that saw roughly 65,000 people evacuated and hundreds of structures lost when these fires broke out inside city limits back on August 1st. Elsewhere across the state, the Ptarmigan fire has burned nearly 24,721 acres and is 55% contained. The Sinlahaken fire has grown to 154,298 acres and is 47% contained, with Level 3 evacuation orders still covering areas west of the Okanogan River, north toward Oroville. The Maudrite fire stands at 98% contained. Evacuation orders and warnings remain in effect around most of these incidents, particularly near Lake Chelan, Tonasket, Inchelium, Meade, and the broader Spokane area. So even with several fires closing out, this remains a genuinely active, multi-front season across the state. In Central Oregon, the Coyote and Henry fires showed no significant changes in activity yesterday, and officials described the trend on both as favorable. Today, crews will continue patrol operations around the perimeter, backhaul equipment no longer needed, and mop up remaining stump holes and heavy logs that could still be smoldering under the region's hot, dry conditions. All of this ahead of today's red flag warning, which covers this part of the state too. The Shingle fire is following a similar pattern, with much of the fire now in patrol status. Crews are targeting residual heat on the ground, investigating heat signatures picked up by an infrared flight, and mopping up along the fire's edge, with the main focus today being on holding existing containment lines through the dry, windy conditions expected statewide. The Roe Creek complex, 10 miles south of Fossil, remains at 373,981 acres, with closures still in effect across lands managed by the U.S. Forest Service and the Bureau of Land Management. With recreational activity increasing over the next 2 weeks, officials are specifically reminding the public to avoid all closed areas, both for their own safety and to avoid interfering with firefighting operations still ongoing in parts of the footprint. This fire is also under today's red flag warning, with officials cautioning that a shift in wind direction could expose smoldering material that's been sheltered from wind so far, potentially increasing fire activity within the existing perimeter. If you're anywhere near the Paradise or Hagen fires today, take the red flag warning seriously. Officials themselves are calling the ignition probability extremely high, and evacuation levels can shift quickly under these wind and thunderstorm conditions. Check official county sources directly rather than any single update. If you're in the Entiat Valley near the Little Giant fire, note that evacuation levels have genuinely improved, but Forest Service roads in the area remain closed, and officials are asking non-residents to stay out regardless of the improved status. If you can, tune into tomorrow's community meeting for the most current, direct information. And if you're anywhere near the Roe Creek complex or planning outdoor recreation in Central Oregon over the next couple of weeks, respect the closures currently in place. They exist both for your safety and to keep firefighting operations running smoothly in areas that still need it. A new command team and real containment progress in Washington, a red flag warning with extremely high ignition risk in Oregon, and the Spokane complex finally reaching full containment after devastating the region weeks ago. Today's update is a genuine snapshot of just how much this season swings between real progress and real new danger, sometimes on the very same day. We'll keep tracking every major fire and bring you the next update as new official data comes in. If this helped, subscribe and turn on notifications, and share this with anyone you know in an affected area. To every firefighter working these fires right now, thank you. Stay informed, stay ready, and stay safe out there.